Today we're talking about the breadboard, one of the simplest but most essential tools for electronics. If you're building circuits even without microelectronics, this little board is your best friend. When you buy a breadboard, it usually looks like this: a grid full of holes and a couple of color lines on the sides. This layout is precisely designed for prototyping circuits without any soldering. So this is how they work. Each vertical column in the middle section is internally connected. That means all 5 holes in a column are electrically linked. But the horizontal rails on the top and bottom are usually marked in red and blue. And they are for power distribution. Red for positive voltage and blue for ground. Yes, you can plug them the other way around if you want, but you will get confused and short something out. Now let's say we want to test an LED. This is the diagram to turn the LED on. You can place the LED across the center gap or sideways. The point here is to place each contact in a different column. Then add a resistor to limit the current, and finally connect the jumper wires from the power rails. There is no soldering required, and if you want to change something, just pull it out and rearrange it. This setup is great for testing circuits before committing to a permanent build. Microcontrollers like the Arduino Nano or the ESP32 should be placed at the center so each pin is connected to its own independent column. For instance, I can place an Arduino Nano right here and wire components directly to it, like sensors, LED or buttons, to test an idea quickly. And the same goes for chips. Breadboards come in different sizes, small ones for compact projects, and large ones that can be linked together for more complex builds. And some, like these two, for example, have adhesive bases, so you can attach them wherever you want. Now, as great as they are, breadboards do have some limitations. They are meant for low current, this depends on the one you buy, but usually it's around 1 amp or less, and the connections can get loose over time. So while perfect for prototyping and experimenting, you should not rely on them for permanent or high power setups. Here are a few tips to keep your breadboard projects clean and reliable. First, keep your wires as short as possible. You can get jumper wire kits or make your own. Second, color code your connections. Red for positive voltage, black for ground, and other colors for signals. 3. If you use the same voltage for the whole circuit, you can connect the 4 power rails together and draw power from wherever you want. But if you need multiple voltages, like 3.3 or 5 volts, separate them on each power rail. This is how almost every project begins, on a breadboard. You can test sensors, LEDs, displays, even motor controllers before you solder anything. This is basically your playground for experimentation. So that's the breadboard. Simple, reusable, and essential for anybody getting into electronics. To let me know if you enjoyed this breakdown, give this video a like, and subscribe so I can bring you simple tech explanations. See you next time.